So 7 years ago when I came to Reagan, the principal said, there is no music program, so you need to build one. And so my colleague and I were given the challenge of building this program with 50% of our students having no musical experience and 60% of them being below the poverty line. And most people would see that as maybe a reason to lower the bar, and we said absolutely not. We should expect the best of our students, and we should create a program where they can be successful in music. And so we did, and we ran into a ton of obstacles. Issues with funding, issues with advocacy, people telling us no, and we just kept on fighting and kept on pushing for this thing that we believed in. And now our program has grown from 50 students at the beginning to over 400 students, and they're making music at the high school level and at the college level, and our students are heading off to careers in music, 100% acceptance rate to schools in music in the past couple years. So in my course of time as an educator, I felt that it was really important for my students to not only be performers, but also learn how to compose music. So we formed a partnership with Present Music, a new art music organization that inspires new works to be performed. So my students had the challenge of writing their own string quartets and working one-on-one with a guest composer to make those string quartets come to life. So they prepared their compositions and they brought them in front of a live professional string quartet. And it was incredible to just see this music that they had spent so much time on come to life, played by professional players. And I think the best moment was the moment right after the work was played, where there was just this silence as we just let the music soak in, and all the players then turned to the student composers and asked them for feedback and advice. And the students were treated like the professional, and they sprung into action and gave them some feedback on their pieces. So I think for most educators, a performance is one of the most important moments or proudest moments, but for me it was definitely seeing my students' creativity come to life. I've been thinking a lot recently about the why of my teaching, why I do things in my classroom, and what that means for my students. And I've been recently inspired by this quote that every time a choice is made, a belief is implied. And I think music educators need to think beyond the traditional performing ensemble to answer that question authentically. And so some of the ways that I've done that is bringing the artistic community of Milwaukee into my classroom, to have my students rub shoulders with great professional musicians, great theorists, composers, to have that experience and to learn about those careers firsthand. I also leverage technology in my classroom through digital notation, using Google Drive with my performing ensembles, YouTube, apps, and online classroom sharing, so my students get to use the technology they use every day in music. I also believe in culturally responsive teaching, acknowledging the diverse cultural backgrounds of my students within the classroom and encouraging them to bring those experiences to the table, which enriches our whole experience. This includes singing in their native languages, incorporating non-Western instruments, and fostering conversation on the universality of music across cultures. One of the ways that I make a positive impact on my students is through showing them that I'm a musician too, and performing and demonstrating my musicianship to my students. Each year I get to be a soloist for Handel's Messiah, and we bring 100 students to come and attend with scores in hand to sing along, and they sing along during the holiday chorus, which is a really fun experience. I also think that I have a responsibility to the next generation of music educators through mentoring, sharing techniques and resources, and encouraging collegiate students to enter the field of music education. I think also fostering community, creating a safe place for students from all backgrounds to work together on something bigger than themselves. And I think ultimately my lasting impact is measured through the alumni, as they share their experiences with ethnomusicology, music production, composition, performance, and things they've done beyond my classroom. And I think it's my responsibility to continue to support them after they've graduated and invite them back to share about their experiences.